I found this post earlier today, and it bothered me so much that I knew that we needed to talk about it. The young girl in this post is in a dangerous situation, a situation that sadly is common. And what's even worse is her own family member put her in this position and won't help her out. Normally I react in the middle of these, but this time I'm just going to read the full story and then we can talk about it at the end. I will warn you, the topics of this post are sensitive and they're difficult to hear. My auntie owns a local diner in the middle of a small town where everyone knows everyone. Recently, she had almost half of her waiters quit within a month, which she knew about but didn't tell me why, when telling my mom this, and I overheard it while doing homework at the dining table. Then she asked my mom if my two older sisters could help out, but my mom said that the oldest is moving out of town to live with her fiancé, but agreed to let the second older sister work. Then my auntie asked about me. Mind you, I'm a 15-year-old girl, and the last thing on my mind to do after school is going to work, even for a few hours. Even if I find the time to get home in the evening and finish my homework, I still wouldn't like the idea at all. My mom was quiet for a little before agreeing, since even I know that money is a touchy subject. Ever since my dad divorced my mom, I was chosen to stay with my mom 100% because my dad is an alcoholic and often liked to hurt my mom, and has done some nasty things to my sister, and I don't know where he is now. Probably in jail or married to another poor woman who will be his next victim. But that's partially the reason why we are struggling when it comes to money. Fast forward a week, I went to school on a Wednesday morning like normal, except I had to pack a set of extra clothes in my already stuffed backpack. My aunt talked to me and told me I have to wear a uniform, and she doesn't want my mom to know what I wear, so she wants me to put it into my backpack instead of going to school in it. She even said she can wash it every week since it'll probably smell like eggs and other diner foods. I usually take the bus to school, so days that I work I would take another bus that dropped me off about a 2-minute walk from the diner. The bus drivers really didn't care about if we got off on unusual stops. Or maybe they had no idea and were just working for a paycheck, much like I'm about to do. At each end of my shift, my auntie will drop me back off at home, after I change back, of course. Once at the diner, I would go to the back through the kitchen, which had 2 chefs who worked harder than any cook I've ever seen. So my outfit is basically a button-down white t-shirt, a white mini skirt, and one of those tiny aprons that only covers a waist to crotch area. My first night went well. I got a lot of people looking at me funny and asked if I'm a kid, to which I told them my age, and some of them were upset a kid is working. Some were happy that they think I'm trying to help the family business, and some were just weird and happy to just see me. Whatever the reason it was, I just like talking to people, so this was super easy. Plus, most of them didn't mind if I would bring out 1 plate at a time instead of like 5 or 6 like pro waitresses. Friday night comes around, and this is the night I finally meet the guy who's one of the main reasons why those other waitresses quit. My auntie really wanted me to meet him since he's in about 3 or 4 times a week and orders a good portion. His name was Larry, and he seemed really nice and friendly. He even treated me more like a friend than a waitress, and would have me sit down with him while he told me stories about how he fixed cars, travels for work, eats at every restaurant ever, and stayed at every hotel in the world. I never told him my age, but I'm pretty sure he can tell I'm a minor. Often enough, he sits at a booth in the corner of the restaurant and would ask me to sit beside his so he could kick his feet up on the other side of the bench, which I didn't mind. But it only started to get weird when he would poke one of the buttons hidden from my apron and think it's my belly button, ask if I had an outie belly button, and if I'm ticklish. I do, in fact, have an outie belly button, but I didn't tell him that. There were a few times I felt like he was feeling my chest, which I don't know why he would want to, since, I'm 15. Sometimes you grab my arm or thigh and give me massages, which really don't feel good, and if I tell him I don't like it, he just tells me I'll start to like it. Usually after every visit from Larry, I would make up a dozen excuses that I needed to go before he would accept and let me go. I didn't mind anything weird about Larry. He seems innocent enough, like a grandpa who just wants to spend time with his grandkids. But I really wish I wasn't chosen to babysit him every time he comes here, and since he spends like $100 a week here, my auntie tells me to just ignore and let him ramble on since he's the reason this business is still afloat. After about a week of seeing Larry almost most of my shifts, he came in with his laptop and showed me his Facebook. He told me to look myself up so we can be friends. I seriously don't want Larry in my life 24/7, so I just lied and told him I never made a Facebook. He simply laughed, thought for a second, and wrote my whole name out in the search bar. For a second, I was so shocked that I turned pale. I had a name tag, but only my first name. But my stupid sister probably told him our last name when he asked. She may be older, but she doesn't act like it. He found a picture of me and sent a friend request, which my phone goes off, making Larry laugh and my heart drop into my stomach. He sent me a few messages just to hear my phone go off a few times, as I pulled it out and faked laugh before swallowing the throw up in my mouth. He then proceeds to go through my gallery, which my Facebook is public since I was pretty stupid enough to want to make as many friends as possible, much like Instagram, and try to gain as many followers. He found pics of me I wish he wouldn't find, and would comment on how my clothes are too revealing and I should take these pics down. He commented on my friends and how he could find me a good set of friends to be with, to which I have no idea who he's referring to since he told me before he has no kids and lives alone. He commented on my outer belly button and poked my belly again. I could really feel his finger trying to find my belly button again, which just felt so disgusting that I just got up without a reason this time and just stormed to my auntie's office. I confessed everything to her and told her how disgusted I am, and at first she seemed to be on my side. But when I explained the things he did to me, she quickly changed sides and told me I'm just over-exaggerating, that he's just treating me like a kid in a friendly way. I wanted to burst out crying and asked my sister for help, even wanting to talk to Mom about this and confess it all. But my sister calmed me down and told me how Auntie would have to let us go, then we wouldn't have enough money to keep our apartment and that we'll have to live with our dad. I had no idea if this were true, but the things my dad did to me are in fact worse than what Larry had done so far. Fast forward a few months to present day. I still work at the diner, and still see Larry on almost a daily basis. He still acts the same and once in a while touches me, but it's gotten to the point that it's nothing too concerning. My chest or thigh, which I still don't care about too much. I only care when he tries to touch my belly. I know that for summer Mom will make me work, and because of my age I legally can't find a job anywhere else. I'm pretty much okay if I have to keep working for summer. The only good thing about Larry is that he would often order twice in one sitting, which made Auntie very happy, and I would get a good tip because of it. I guess if you have advice, I'll take it, but I don't think getting rid of Larry will be in my best interest. I've read too many creepy stories of stalker situations, and trying to escape the creep only makes things worse. But also, Auntie probably would fire me, and my mom would be upset. If I reveal all of this to my mom, this would only make our family situation much worse, since my mom relies on Auntie way too much. But either way, it feels good to share this. I feel like just talking about it makes me feel better, and reading other stories makes me feel like I'm not alone, and maybe I'll find help in the best way. I might be in this situation for a while, but sharing it relieves some of the stress. Thanks again for listening. If I have any updates, I'll post them here. Edit. Thank you everyone for your comments. I wish I could respond to all of them. I'm glad everyone is so nice and helpful in the messages of advice too. I want to talk to my mom, but I'm scared this will make her worried for me and bring her down. My mom secretly drinks to relieve her problems. I think she gets it from my dad, but she's not violent. I know she will blame herself for all of this, and I don't like seeing my mom drink and get worse. I think I'll work through summer vacation and quit after. Larry still comes almost every day. After reading some comments yesterday, I told him I'll be deleting my Facebook and made it private and deleted him from my friends. He was sad and asked a lot about if I'm okay and gave me advice that I think is good. I still don't think Larry is a bad person. He just is lonely, I think. I didn't talk to my auntie yet. I love my auntie, and I don't think she will want to put me in danger, but I also think that she doesn't think Larry is a bad person. I really want to work hard through this summer and make lots of tips for my mom. Maybe enough that it can make up for when I stop working after summer vacation. The situation that this girl is in is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And the fact that she was put in this situation by her family members is, I don't know, I don't have words for it. It doesn't seem like she has a good support system. Her own sister encouraged her to stay. It's very obvious she's being groomed. And you can see that everybody else's opinions of Larry and the situation are just rubbing off on her. She's talking about Larry like he's not really a problem, as if he's just some nice guy who's lonely, but that's just not the case, and we all know that. I think the really sad thing here, the thing that I hope that you take from this, is that family, as wonderful as they can be in some situations, can be the absolute worst in other situations. We're all raised to trust our family and to assume that they will always have our back and want to protect us. But that's not always the case. There are a lot of times when family is the one people you can't trust. And I don't think there's an easy remedy for that. My best recommendation would be that, parents, keep checking in with your kids. Pay attention to the smallest things that shift in them. If they seem uncomfortable around certain people. And don't ever make the assumption that just because someone's family, that they're not dangerous. And if your kid is uncomfortable and chooses to express that to you, take it seriously. I know this post wasn't very entertaining, but when I read this, I felt like I needed to talk about it.